Minneapolis, we get set for the Class 2A championship game, and it's a team that everybody has been waiting to see, the Litchfield Dragons. Perfect so far in the year to do battle with Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. The Buccaneers have won 20 of their last 21. With Janet Carvin and I'm Anthony LaPanta. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. This one of those games that features a team everybody's been talking about since December. One is Minneapolis Henry, the other is Litchfield. These are the two teams everybody expected to see playing here on the final Saturday of the year.
That's really true, and I think I heard that the Litchfield coach, John Carlson, said even they did not know how good they were until about Christmas time when they beat Tartan.
By 25 at Tartan.
That's right, a Tartan team that's going for the championship later on tonight in Class 4A, and then they realized, hey, we've got something good here. So they're no surprise, but they are not just happy to be here. They want to win it and finish it off.
A perfect season is not perfect unless you cap it with the big prize. On the other side, Waterville-Elysian-Morristown was in that same Christmas tournament at Tartan. They, however, lost 2 out of 3 games, losing the 5th place game to Spring Lake Park. Since that time, they've turned it around and won 20 of 21. This is a team that has some tournament seasoning, even though the school has never been to a basketball tournament. Every player but one was on a football team that reached the Prep Bowl.
That's right, and that makes a big difference when you've got that experience going. They were not intimidated by De La Salle, a team that was going for their 3rd straight title, and they're a very seasoned team. Very gutsy performances, hard-working team, and several players that can step it up. They tend to be more of a perimeter type of team. In fact, Kalis was the only one that was not on the football team, and he was running in the state track or cross-country championship, so he had his own
a little bit of state tournament experience as well. If the Buccaneers are going to stay in this one today, it may be courtesy of Gabe Hauer. Hauer has been their go-to guy through the first 2 rounds of the tournament, averaging 23 points in their first 2 wins. They beat Rochester Lord by a point in the quarters, beat De La Salle by 5 in the semis. He's been outstanding, a 3-year starter. It is over the 1,000 mark for his career.
And congratulations to him. What a wonderful milestone, and to be able to do it at the state tournament is really exciting as well. Corey Hackett, another person that was the quarterback on that football team. He's kind of the quarterback on this team, and a solid performance, but he's going to need to step it up a notch. He's come through with some key 3-pointers, and when they came back to defeat Rochester Lord, they were down 9 with just a couple of minutes left to go, and they ended up winning that game by 1 point because of his 3-point shooting ability. And so it's going to take that. I know they realize what they're up against. And let's take a look at a couple key players today in the game. We talked to his mom just a couple of minutes ago. That's Alex Carlson, the senior leading scorer and very much the emotional leader for this team at Litchfield. We have 2 teams that are green and white today, and we will be talking more about those players.
And we'll be back to introduce the starting lineups and the reserves after this from Williams Arena. For the 2nd year in a row, has gone undefeated throughout the regular season. This year, they advanced to a state championship game, and on the other side, a team that has won 47 games over the last 2 years. The Waterville-Elysian-Morristown Buccaneers will be trying to beat Giant Killers here this afternoon against Litchfield. A team and a game that I think almost everybody in the building, everybody watching at home, may assume is going to be a one-sided affair, but many times you get a team that's won a couple of tight ones on their way, and that confidence can help them pull off the upset. Before we get to the start of this one, we must introduce the key players. Let's send it over to public address announcer Bob Reed.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for 2A championship basketball. Before we introduce the roster for both teams, let's meet the cheerleaders, starting with the visiting team, Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. Please greet Julie Saltzman, Jessica Humphrey, Emily Childs, and Adrian Swartwood, the Waterville-Elysian-Morristown cheerleaders. And now introducing the home team cheerleaders from Litchfield. Please greet Chrissy Eglund, Christina Schultz, Lynn Parody, Jenny Stegan, Amy Cook, and the mascot, Brandon Kragenbring, the Litchfield cheerleaders and the mascot. And now introducing the reserves for the visiting team, the Section 2 champions, a record now 25-3, the Waterville-Elysian-Morristown Buccaneers. Wearing the light-colored visitor jerseys, starting with a 6'3" sophomore guard, number 4, John Cornelius. 6'2" sophomore forward, number 22, Brian Roop. 6'4" sophomore guard, number 24, Lance Warner. 5'9" junior forward, number 30, Brandon Miller. 6'4" senior forward, 32, Jake Golombeski. 6'2" senior forward, number 42, Terry Mischke. 6'2" junior forward, number 44, Corey Nussbaum. 6'1" senior forward, number 50, Tony Schnorr. 6'3" senior forward, number 52, Craig Herring. And a 6'2" junior forward, number 54, Luke Larson. And now introducing the home team reserves, the Section 5 champions, a record of 28-0, the Litchfield Dragons. 5'9" freshman guard, number 3, Joe Patton. 6'2" senior forward, 32, D.J. Vanar. 6 foot senior guard, number 33, Brent Van Leer. 6 foot senior guard, number 34, Ryan Anderson. 5'8" senior guard, number 35, Zach Piepenberg. 6 foot senior guard, number 40, Carl Bergs. 5'8" senior guard, number 43, Ben Musburger. 6'1" senior forward, number 50, Lyle Olberding. 6'1" senior forward, number 52, Nat Springer. And a 6'9" sophomore center, number 55, Scott Peters. And now introducing the starting lineup, alternating by team, starting at forward with the Buccaneers, a 6'2" senior, number 14, Gabe Hauer. And for Litchfield, 6'4" senior, number 23, Brandon Van Leer. At the other forward for Waterville-Elysian-Morristown, 6'2" senior, number 34, Joe Zimke. And for Litchfield, a 6'2" senior, number 4, Alex Carlson. At center for Waterville-Elysian-Morristown, 6'3" senior, number 40, Mark Little. For Litchfield, 6'5" freshman, number 41, John Carlson. At guard for the Buccaneers, 6 foot senior, number 12, Travis Kalis. For Litchfield, 5'10" junior, number 21, Mike Patton. At the other guard for the Buccaneers, 6 foot senior, number 5, Corey Hackett. And for Litchfield, 5'10" senior, number 5, Chris Patton. The assistant Waterville-Elysian coach is Nick James. The head Buccaneer coach, Jeff Wagner. And for Litchfield, assistant coach Ken Gustafson. The head Dragons coach, John Carlson. The officials for this game, the referee is Jeff Coombe and the umpire Bob Marr.
There you have the starters, the non-starters, coaches, everybody else you need to know about heading into this Class AA championship game. Another look at the starting lineups. Howard, Kalis, and Hackett in the backcourt for the Buccaneers. Mike Patton will be joined by Alex Carlson, who always seems to have his biggest games against the stiffest competition. Chris Patton also in the backcourt. Carlson, Van Leer, Little, and Zemke up front for the Buccaneers.
Well, we've got some kids on this floor that know how to compete, though, and this is what it's all about. The last game for Class 2A.
Mark Little will jump center for the Bucks, who are in white. Litchfield in green. Carlson controls the tap, and this is Chris Patton. Great cut by Mike Patton. Caught the basket, fouled by Travis Kalis, and Litchfield is on the board quickly. Well, this Litchfield team moves the ball about as well as anybody we've seen in the tournament, and their press has grown to legendary status. They forced 28 turnovers in their quarterfinal win over St. Cloud Cathedral. They beat the Crusaders by 43.
Well, they do shoot very well from the field, right around 50%. And you don't shoot that well unless you think about the kind of shots you want. That's a great first possession for them in this game to get the ball inside, off to a 3-0 lead.
Howard, no basket, charging call. And a good start for the Dragons, and John Carlson slid in behind to draw the charge.
Well, that was a heads-up play there to be ready. I think they've got the scouting report on Gabe Howard, and Howard likes to drive. They know that, and that'll make him think about driving again the next time, too.
Patton for three. Off no good, rebounded inside by Zemke for the Buccaneers.
I mentioned it in the open, but I think Zemke is going to be very important, number 34, and also Little, number 40, on the inside, to not only score, but to also really work hard on the boards.
Head coach Jeff Wagner felt that if they could control the press and handle the Litchfield press, that they could get the kind of shots they want out of their half-court offense against this Litchfield defense.
You know, De La Salle bothers people a lot with their defensive pressure, and Waterville-Elysian-Morristown did a very nice job handling that.
Foul called before the shot against Brandon Van Leer, so the basket does not count. Actually, the foul goes against Chris Patton, not Van Leer. Well, it was interesting. I asked Coach Wagner why he felt their press was so good and how he felt his team matched up against it. He said, you know, nobody's tried to press us all year. Let's hear Howard scores on the baseline. Imagine getting to game number 29 and still be wondering how your team's going to handle a press. Van Leer cut off on the baseline. Patton. Now Carlson. Stops and fires from 18. It's in and out. Rebound out of bounds. Last touch by Zemke.
A good position there by the Bucks. Zemke couldn't handle it, but they're doing a nice job keeping Van Leer and John Carlson off the boards thus far.
Patton shovels it off to John Carlson, who wanted the slam, but it may have been tipped on the way up. And a good save by Kalis.
Well, Kalis is a smart player. He's the one with the headband on. He's that cross-country runner I told you about in the open. Also a good golfer. He does a lot of little things on the floor that really help the Bucks.
Howard leans in, draws contact. It is before the shot.
Howard, smart player, too. He's trying to get the shot up to see if he could get the official to call him a foul in the act of shooting. But it's going to be the Bucks ball under the basket. There's John Carlson, the coach of Litchfield.
Little in the corner for the Bucks. Now Hackett on top. Howard controls his body so well. Here he shovels it inside. Zemke on the second try. Missed it.
Oh, great job on the offensive boards and the hustle by the Bucks.
Finally controlled by Kalis. Howard missed the three. Tapped around. Finally cleared by Chris Patton.
That was a tough trip up the court for the Bucks now to come up with something, but great hustle and effort.
Van Leer missed it, rebounded by Kalis, and a fast start to this one.
Well, and the Dragons really struggling on the field early. They've had some nice looks to the basket, but roll has not been going their way here early.
Played over 3 minutes. 3-2 for the Dragons. Howard pumps and scores inside, and the Bucks have the lead for the first time.
I'm telling you, Howard wants this game. He is so intense.
Carlson. Patton for three. Rebound controlled inside by Zemke for the Bucks. And the struggles continue for Litchfield. Howard, the scoop, no good. Rebound out of bounds to Litchfield. And we have a timeout on the floor. It's a fast-paced start with the Bucks in front by one. Number one ranked team in the state has gone 3 minutes and 39 seconds without a bucket. And they trail the Bucks by one. Here's Van Leer on the wing. Wants to go inside as it's stripped away, but John Carlson's there to cover up for him. Brent Van Leer is checked in. Now Patton fires for three. Offensive rebound by Carlson, but he missed the long two-pointer. And it is finally knocked out of bounds to the Bucks.
Well, good hustle there by the Bucks. Jake Golombeski, number 32, a big guy, also inserted in the lineup, I think, to give them a little more inside strength.
Now
we'll find out.
Press.
We'll find out about that press now.
Cross-court pass is a dangerous one.
So we throw another one.
Kalis for three, and it's good. Bucks have scored 7 in a row, and they lead by 4. Patton, athletic move, but missed the shot. Rebounded by Little.
And they are cold here in the first quarter.
They've missed 8 shots in a row and have gone nearly 5 minutes without a basket.
And again, this is a Litchfield team in the green that averages almost 80 points a game.
And they shot 50% or better in both of their first 2 tournament games. 1 of 9 out of the blocks.
They're one of the teams, though, when you play them, you don't want to start slow, because Staples-Motley found out last night what happens to you when you have a lull early in the game, and you're in an uphill situation the rest of the way.
Little. Great dish to Golombeski, who scores. And Litchfield needs a timeout. 2:31 remaining here in the first quarter. And the Dragons find themselves down by 6. John Carlson came out on him. He beat him on the dribble with the left hand, shoveled it to Golombeski. And the Bucks have scored 9 in a row, blanking this high-powered Litchfield offense for better than 5 minutes to lead by 6.
Wow. Really a surprising start, but nice job by the big guys. Little is 6'3", Golombeski 6'4". Their play today is critical to the Bucks.
And now a steal as Hackett rips it away from Alex Carlson. Dragons turn it over only 3 times in their semifinal win over Staples-Motley.
I talked to Lynn Peterson, the coach of Staples-Motley, before yesterday's game, and he said a lot of teams, when they come up against Litchfield, are scared to death and totally intimidated by their reputation. And that does not seem to be the case today here with the Bucks.
That's why a fast start was so crucial. And now an offensive foul against Jake Golombeski for an illegal screen. And the Bucks turn it over. But that's why a fast start, I felt, was so crucial for the Buccaneers. You come in and all of a sudden this highly rated team has you down by 10, and all your fears become reality. Another foul against Golubeski as Brandon Von Leer tried to pivot through the defense. And Golubeski with 2 quick violations will be replaced by Zemke.
Well, Litchfield has started slow. Only 3 points scored at 1:44 to play first quarter, but they're only down 6. Then they can score points in a hurry. Number 4, Alex Carlson, a good 3-point shooter. I think once they get on track here, they're going to be okay.
Another turnover as the pass is tipped out of bounds. Last touch by John Carlson. Second turnover by the Dragons. The Bucks with the ball and a 6-point lead. 90 seconds to go in the first quarter. Kalis harassed by Chris Patton. Good recovery by Howard. To the corner for Kalis. Howard outside the arc. Bucks content to run some clock.
Well, Corey Hackett, number 5, has not yet scored for them. He is the all-time leading scorer in the Bucks history. They've got some time here to work down.
I wondered if on this trip they started the possession with the intent to play for one shot. Coach Jeff Wagner was barking signals to them as they walked it up, and it appears that may have been their goal from the start. They've already run 45 seconds off on this trip.
Well, I think it just gives them confidence to be in control. Be controlling the ball, controlling the clock. Again, dictating the tone here of this game early.
Hackett's left alone for 3. Missed it long. Rebounded by Van Leer.
And the Dragons need a good shot here.
Inside to Carlson. Missed it. Offensive rebound by Van Leer, and he missed it. Little finally controls for the Bucks, now with 15 seconds to play.
There just seems to be a lid on that basket, Anthony.
Howard with 6 to go. Lost it, out of bounds to the Bucks. 3.4 seconds remaining. Litchfield scored 9 seconds into the game on a 3-point play by Mike Patton. They have not scored since. Howard hangs in the lane and got it at the buzzer. And the Bucks score the final 11 points of the first quarter to lead by 8.
Team information and statistics, be sure to check out our website at www.kmsp.com under Prep Sports section, courtesy of Varsity Online.
Minutes remaining in the first half. Dragons, for all their troubles, failed by only 6 points. Alex Carlson for 3. Rebound finally controlled by Miller. For the quickness, and it's quickness from big bodies for the Dragons, makes this team so difficult to beat. When you beat that press, they catch up with the play so quickly, they don't give you easy ones on the back end.
That's really true, and that was one thing that John Carlson talked about in the post-game interview last night, that's probably their biggest strength, Anthony, is that those 5 players on the floor have a lot of quickness all the way through.
Hackett. The Dragons wanted a 5-second call. May have had a good case. Howard. Double team. Great dump inside to Golubeski, but he bobbled it. And Mike Patton has a loose ball.
That was a tough one to handle. He really Howard really fired in there, and Messi just couldn't quite control it. Got to be a little frustrating for the Dragons, too, having to spend so much time on defense. In terms of percentages, they've been spending a lot more time on that end of the floor, working hard on defense.
Patton off on another three, but a long rebound for Chris Patton. And he hits the three. And suddenly the lead is only three. And now the Dragons crank up the press once more.
Yeah, that was Chris Patton, number 5. There's Alex Patton. Mike Patton, number 21. And there's also Joe Patton, a freshman, number 3. We haven't seen him yet.
Tough shot by Howard, but he missed the leader. Rebound Van Leer. Dragons. They want a tie on a 3 by Van Leer, but it's no good. Rebounded by Howard. Bucks might be wearing those Litchfield legs down just a little bit as well. They played the late game last night. You force them to play a half a minute of defense on every trip. That could affect those jump shots on the other end.
That's a really good point, and they go to their bench a little bit. But Brent Van Leer and Joe Patton don't play a lot.
Hackett steps into a 3 but missed it. Rebound Brandon Van Leer. Bucks have missed their first 3 here in the second quarter after shooting 50% in the opening quarter. 3 by Patton, no good. Offensive rebound inside by Alex Carlson. And the Dragons continue to get good shots on every trip. Eventually, they're going to drop. Howard, the runner off the glass. And he's fouled, but not on the shot. It'll be Buccaneer ball after a foul against John Carlson.
Well, Carlson did this on one of the first plays of the game. But this time he tried to box out Howard and initiated the contact, and they're calling him for a foul.
The Dragons have gone 8 minutes without a point. Now it's the Bucks who have been held scoreless for nearly 6. They still lead by 1 on the U.S. Bank scoreboard. Been held scoreless for 5 minutes and 47 seconds, and now they turn it over.
Got a 3-on-1.
Carlson with a layup, and Litchfield has the lead for the first time since it was 3-0.
And even though they're only 5 for 22 from the field, which is not a very good percentage, I don't think they care right now. They've got the lead.
Howard missed it. Rebound out of bounds to the Dragons. But part of that problem is that the Bucks haven't had many shots. They've attempted only 14 compared to 22 for Litchfield. Carlson inside. He's fouled as he tried to get it back out on top. Well, it was an 11-0 run by the Bucks that gave them an 8-point lead. Now it's a 9-0 run by Litchfield that has them on top by 1. Foul was called against Zenke. Next foul would put Litchfield in the bonus. Patton for 3 is short. Rebound Lillard.
Even though it's a 1-point game, it's funny how the feeling and that momentum just seems to have shifted over to Litchfield. And the Bucks players are kind of feeling it too. I think they're...
You can see the frustration on their faces. They feel like they're doing everything right, and yet they trail by a point. But Howard has shown the ability to get inside the defense off the dribble, and here he draws a foul against Alex Carlson.
That's right, and that's very important that they establish that inside game. Howard does a great job by penetrating it.
Howard hits the first free throw. He's 6 of 9 in the tournament from the line. He got them both. And the Bucks go back on top by a point.
That's really not a lot of free throws for someone who drives as much as he does. He's a good free throw shooter, too.
Carlson. Look at how well Litchfield moves without the ball. Back to Carlson. Drives to the baseline. He's bumped on the way by Hackett. And this is the 7th foul against Waterville-Elysian. And it'll be a 1-and-1 for Alex Carlson. The Dragons have shot only one free throw in this first half.
Corey Hackett definitely has a tough assignment tonight guarding Alex Carlson. You know, we saw him last night just lighting it up, especially from three-point range. And he's done a fairly good job of containing him. I think he's really working hard on defense, too.
Wins the bonus. Carlson has averaged 21 points per game for the Dragons in the tournament. He was third in the West Central North Conference this year with 15.3 per game. 1-point lead for Litchfield. A steal and a bucket for Van Leer.
Oh, Van Leer does a great job keying that press with his height and his quickness.
Little the other way, a charging foul, and the second time that John Carlson has been able to draw a charge against a Buccaneer player.
Well, when you're as big as John Carlson, you don't mind stepping in there and taking a hit for the team, and he does it very well. He was well set, and Little ran him over.
Dragons now with the ball and a 3-point lead. Buccaneers do not have a field goal in this quarter. Turnovers very one-sided, and the last couple have led directly to Dragon baskets out of that press. Mentioned that the Dragons had forced 28 turnovers in their opening round win over St. Cloud Cathedral. So far in the tournament, they are a plus 28, including the plus 6 here today in that department. Foul called that will send Mike Patton to the line for a 1-1. Foul was against Gabe Hauer, his second. That's Bob Marr for a quick explanation. I'm not sure he was real thrilled with what he got. That sends Patton to the line for a 1-1.
Well, I missed that one. I missed that foul.
I did too. First free throw is good. Dragons as a team are 4 of 4 at the line.
Mike Patton, a good student, 3.5. Football team and track team. Triple jumper.
He got both free throws. The lead is 5 for Litchfield. They are on a 15-2 run.
Their go-to guys on the bench and Howard, but they've got to look to get a shot up.
It's Little with a long three. Hackett, yeah, at the buzzer.
Wow, what a shot.
And oh, did they need that one. They hadn't had a field goal since the buzzer beater by Hauer in the first quarter. And this one brings them to within 3 at halftime. Wow, the Buccaneers had to have it. And they, at least for the time being, answer the 15-2 run by the Dragons. Let's check in with Vanessa Hughes. Vanessa.
Thanks, Anthony. That's right. I'm here with Jeff Wagner, coach. Kind of an up and down first half. You guys got out to a real good start, and then Litchfield battled back. What was the game plan coming into this one?
Well, you know, what we wanted to do the first half, take care of the basketball and be a little bit patient. And then in the second quarter, we got away from that. We got up and down the court too much and took some bad shots, and that really got us in trouble. Then got them in the press. We don't want to do that. We want to keep it slow if we can.
I liked what you did offensively, though. You forced them to play a lot of defense on every possession. Are you going to keep trying to do that in the second half, or are you going to make some changes?
No, we're going to keep trying to do that, you know, unless we have to make changes. Well, we got to make some changes in the kids right now. We got to get away from what we did at the end of the second quarter and get back to what was successful for us in the first half.
Well, you hit a big three there at the end of the quarter. You're only down 1. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
You bet. That's Waterville-Elysian-Morristown head coach Jeff Wagner. I'll be back with the Northland Ford halftime report after this. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's celebration time now at Williams Arena. And today's celebration honors the 32 students standing at center court for their achievements in the classroom, the arts, and athletics. To honor these student leaders, the Minnesota State High School League and Golden Valley Microwave Foods sponsor the Academic Arts and Athletics Award. This award goes to high school seniors who have a 3.0 or higher grade point average and who participate in league-sponsored athletic and fine arts activities. Awarding medals to these outstanding students are David Hartman and Steve Jornas, members of the Minnesota State High School League Board of Directors, David Stead and Lisa Lissamore from the Minnesota State High School League. And now the 2000 Academics, Arts, and Athletics Award finalists. Representing Region 1A from Caledonia High School, Katrina Hummel. And Jason Busta from Spring Grove High School. Representing Region 1AA from Red Wing High School, Rachel McNamara. And Brian Michelle from Winona High School. Representing Region 2A from Montgomery Lonsdale High School, Adam Sherry. Representing Region 2AA from Buffalo High School, Mariel Gartner. And from Buffalo also, Aaron Squadroni. Representing Region 3A from Tracy area, Jenna Borboom. And from Redwood Valley, Brant Hagan. Representing Region 3AA from St. Paul Harding, Celeste Keywell. And from Woodbury High School, John Reski. Representing Region 4A from Ogilvie, Lindsey Johnson. And from Graham area, Anthony Smith. Representing Region 4AA from Stillwater area, Karn Hookey. And from Elk River area, Christopher Robinson. Representing Region 5A from Becker, Sonia Stern. And from Foley, Brandon Winters. Representing Region 5AA from Osseo, Rebecca Ringen. And from Minneapolis Southwest, Justin Raps. Representing Region 6A from Pelican Rapids, Nancy Longfors. And from Hawley, Matthew Granboys. Representing Region 6AA from Robbinsdale Armstrong, Lisa Tracy. And from Edina, Michael Johnson. Representing Region 7A from Two Harbors, Laura Woodine. And from Willow River, Imran Baber. Representing Region 7AA from Mora, Sarah McBroom. And from Duluth Central, Matthew Liebfried. Representing Region 8A from Ada Borup, Rebecca Ribke. And the 2000 State Academics, Arts, and Athletics Award goes to Janie Hansen of Blue Earth area, Mark Borgen of Badger, Lindsay Hartman of Alexandria, and Scott Ferguson, also of Alexandria. Golden Valley Microwave Foods, the sponsors of the AAA program, will award a $4,000 scholarship to Janie, Mark, Lindsay, and Scott. Please join the league and Golden Valley Microwave Foods in congratulating these students for their outstanding achievements.
You'll meet 4 of these special AAA award winners when the Northland Ford halftime report continues. Stay with us. Now we're at halftime of the 2A championship game. Litchfield out in front, 18-15. Well, you just saw several students receive the AAA award. Right now, I'm here with 3 of them. 2 are from Alexandria. 1 is from Blue Earth. This is Lindsay Hartman and Scott Ferguson from Alexandria. Janie Hansen from Blue Earth. First, Lindsay, let me ask you, can you talk about what the AAA award is? Describe to people who might not know what this award is all about.
This is a program put on by the Minnesota State High School League and Golden Valley Microwave Foods. It's to honor students that are involved in at least one Minnesota State High School League extracurricular athletic activity. They must have a 3.0 GPA or higher and also have good standing and citizenship in their community.
Well, you all have a lot to be proud of. I know it's hard to hear. We've got some crazy Litchfield fans right in front of us. Scott, let me ask you, what activities are you involved in, and what does this award mean to you?
I'm in like band and choir and track and football and basketball, amongst a lot of other drug abuse resistance organizations, and it means a lot to me because there's a lot of great kids out here, and just to be honored is a good feeling.
How about you, Lindsay? I know you're quite an athlete. Having worked in Alexandria several years ago, I remember watching you as a freshman. Now you're a senior. You've had a great year on that state volleyball team in the fall. What does this award mean to you?
It's so special because this group of students is really amazing because they're so involved and so successful, and just to be among them is such an honor.
Well, congratulations. I'm going to talk to you now, Janie. Well, talk about what activities you're involved in Blue Earth, and what this award means to you.
Well, I'm involved in cross-country, basketball, softball, band, orchestra, choir, student council, NHS. Those are the main ones. And I know this is great. It's a real honor to get this award because I've worked to keep my life well-balanced, so this is great.
Well, you all have a lot to be proud of. What are your plans for next year?
I'm going to go to the University of Kansas. So,
What are you going to study?
I'm going to study architecture, interior design, and play softball.
Well, great. Congratulations. Congrats to all the AAA award winners, and thank you all for joining me here at halftime. I'll be back with more after this. Stay with us. Time to announce another winner in the U.S. Bank March Tournament Sweepstakes held in Minnesota U.S. Bank branches. Paul Deemer of Albert Lee is our winner. On his behalf, U.S. Bank will donate $2,500 to Albert Lee High School. Congratulations, Paul, and special thanks to U.S. Bank, premier partner of the Minnesota State High School League. Halftime of the Class 2A championship game, Litchfield on top by 3. Janet and Anthony will be back with the second half after these messages.
First quarter, Litchfield scored early, then went 7 minutes and 51 seconds without a bucket. They shot 9% in the first quarter. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown shot 14% in the second. One of their bright spots was Gabe Howard.
Well, he is really taking control early. He did spend a little time on the bench with some fouls, but that was a huge play at the end of the first quarter to give them the lead. But the defensive pressure got things going for Litchfield. That was Brandon Van Leer who keys that press. He had a good first half with 4 points. Neither team shooting very well at all at this point in time.
And it is not for lack of execution offensively. Each team has executed well. It's good defense, but it's also just some bad luck. Dragons have it first with a 3-point lead as we start this second half. With Janet Carvinen and Vanessa Hughes, I'm Anthony LaPanta. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. 2 finals still to come tonight here on Channel 9. Near turnover, Carlson Carlson missed it inside, and he's tackled. Zemke comes up with a loose ball. Awful lot of contact. John Carlson is now 0 for 5 in the game.
And that's a key statistic at this point, that he has not got involved offensively, but Gabe Hauer has.
Hauer finishes among the trees. He has 10. And the lead is trimmed to 1. Alex Carlson has been held in check.
Well, that Hackett-Carlson matchup is a good one to watch there. Good help by Little to come over and stop the baseline drive. Otherwise, Carlson might have gone all the way.
Alex Carlson missed his first 3 shots. Finished the first half with 6 points. He's been their go-to guy so far in the tournament. Patton for 3, and it's good.
Oh, nice looking shot there by Mike Patton, the junior. He is their leading scorer, averaging about 19 a game. He's got 8.
Bucks beat the press. They've only really had trouble with that press 2 or 3 times, but in a game that's 21 to 17, 6 points is a huge swing.
Well, we heard Coach Jeff Wagner talk about tempo, and they want to keep this tempo slow.
Hackett misses the 3. Rebound Mike Patton on the backside. Patton forced this 3. Rebound controlled by Zemke, and he's fouled. No, they called a traveling call.
Oh, that's an interesting call.
There's no question that Brandon Van Leer had his arm. And this is a big break for Litchfield.
Oh, I think Van Leer's lucky, but the referee had a few words with him and said, hey, you got to cool it here a little bit. These players are getting pretty intense on the inside.
Carlson finally hits his first basket of the game. And the lead has grown to 6. Biggest lead of the game for Litchfield. Howard trying to answer as it's stripped on the way up by Chris Patton. Great backdoor cut by Van Leer. Patton found him, and the Dragons starting to pull away.
Well, here they go. And they're going to keep the defensive pressure on. Jeff Wagner up. I'm sure he's concerned at the moment. Not sure if we should call a timeout right now. He's waiting to play it out. If they can score this trip, that would really help.
Oh, Howard was open on the baseline, but Kalis missed him.
This is the Bucks' first ever appearance in the tournament. Feels like the first one for Litchfield because their last one was so long ago.
Well, it was only 82 years ago. After working with you for the last 2 weekends, Janet, I'm sure you know somebody who played on that team or had a brother who lived next door to somebody on that team.
Yeah, I've been around forever, too. 15 years here at the tournament.
Little is left alone for 3.
Oh, good board.
Zemke draws some contact, but can't draw a whistle. And Carlson finally has it.
And they've got John Long if he can handle it. Oh, he can't. Oh, my goodness. He's almost up in the fan section there.
Timeout on the floor with 4:29 remaining, 3rd quarter. And the Dragons have stretched it out to an 8-point game. 5-point lead. It has been a war throughout.
Well, these small schools do play
Patton for 3.
Back-to-back games.
Golubeski with a rebound, and if they got Carlson. Oh, this is John Carlson, not Alex. Second foul against John Carlson. Thought for a moment we might have some major foul trouble after the rebound by Golubeski. You know, the shots that Litchfield has been able to get have not been the same shots we saw them get in either of the first 2 rounds. It's been 3-pointers from the Pattons have been about the only open looks they've been able to get out of their half-court offense. Howard.
That's really true. The Bucks do play good defense as well. We've heard so much about Litchfield's defense, but it's true that the athletic talent on this Buck team is really strong.
Kalis.
Kalis with the basketball is going to Osborne to play basketball and golf next year, and he's going to play college golf even though he's never played on a high school golf team. They don't have a golf team there, and he carries just he's almost a scratch golfer playing at the Waseca Country Club. So his golf days are just going to be starting.
22nd timeout taken by the Bucks. Well, we've talked a little bit about some of the athletes on both of these teams. It's really remarkable when you look at some of the numbers that the football players at Waterville-Elysian have compiled throughout their career. You mentioned Kalis and his golf.
And there's the little dragon, Litchfield's little dragon. Little boy named Jordan Carew. He's 18 months old, and I've got a little girl who's 18 months old, and I don't know if she'd allow anybody to put a costume on her like that. And he's just been a wonderful addition to this cheerleading crew in green. Good job, Jordan.
Litchfield really stretching out the defense. And the Bucks having trouble. Dangerous pass. Kalis just able to recover. Hackett for three. Short. Rebounded by Patton. Slows it down at the other end. Inside 2 minutes remaining here in the third quarter.
When we talked about defense, the Bucks in the same man-to-man. Both these teams in man-to-man all the way. A lot of people have tried to play zone against Litchfield, and that's a mistake generally, but that is going to be an offensive foul.
And that's 4 against Alex Carlson. A lot of contact inside, and some major foul trouble now for the man who has been the leading scorer for the Dragons here in the state tournament.
A nice job there to draw the foul on him. And he's not happy having to go to the bench. 1:25 to play, third quarter. His team up by 5.
But for how good the defense has been, that's only the third turnover by the Dragons in this game. Kalis for three.
You know, the Dragons only had 3 turnovers in their entire game.
Hackett for three. A great job by Little to tip that one and keep it alive. And it's a 2-point lead for Litchfield.
A big play by Little, as you mentioned. He's bumping with John Carlson on the inside, doing a great job on defense as well. Another turnover.
Back-to-back possessions on which the Dragons have given it away. And now the Bucks want to play for one shot. For 45 seconds against this aggressive, overplaying defense is a tall order.
We'll look for number 14 to probably take the shot. Dave Howard. He, according to Jeff Wagner, is the best athlete he's ever coached in over 20 years.
Well, they've hit a buzzer beater at the end of each the first and second quarter. Howard hit it in the first. Hackett hit it in the second.
No fouls to worry about as far as bonus. Only 3 fouls on Litchfield, 1 on the Bucks.
10 seconds to go. Now Hackett wants to get it rolling. Gets it to Kalis. Only 3 seconds to go. Leans in and missed it. And the quarter comes to a close. 8 minutes to go here at the barn. And it's the Dragons by 2.
Tournament coverage via the internet. Go to KMSP.com and click on the tournament guide icon and then click on the video icon. There is John Carlson, the coach of Litchfield. His team up by 2 as we start the fourth quarter. 8 minutes to play in this 2A championship game here on Championship Saturday.
Near turnover, but the Bucks regain control. Looks like we're headed for a good finish in this one. Still to come tonight, Minneapolis Henry and St. Thomas, a rematch of the 98 state final in Class 3A, and then Maple Grove and Tartan to do battle in the 4A final.
You know, I think about Litchfield, they haven't even had hardly any close games this season. They've had averaged almost 80 points a game, giving up 44, and this is unusual for them to find themselves in that position.
Well, that may be a factor. In their conference season this year, they went 12-0, won their 12 conference games by an average of 42.5 points a game. Their closest conference game was a 22-point win over Melrose in their conference opener.
There's a good inside look there by Zimke, and the foul. He'll get to shoot 2 shots. And that's interesting to think about that, because last night Staples Motley came as close as anybody had before, and losing to them by 14 points. Minnetonka came within 14. Fergus Falls came within 14. Those are the closest games that this Litchfield team has had this entire season.
Zemke missed 2 free throws. He's 0 for 4 at the line.
And on paper, a lot of people did not give Waterville-Elysian-Morristown a chance. They thought it might be a blowout.
They came into this tournament ranked 6th in the final AA poll. Howard with his 4th foul. He can't believe it. And I'd have to see it again to believe it. I thought he had an awful lot of basketball. Patton will go to the line for 2 in a game where they have allowed just about everything to go. Let's watch this one again. That is as clean a block as you're going to get.
Well, that may be, but the fact is that he's on the bench right now. 4 fouls, or will be soon, because they can't afford to have him foul out of the game. And as a senior leader, you know, going for blocks is great, but you have to realize you're taking a risk when you block a shot. And I remember being in games where it just wasn't worth it to go for the block.
You're right, but in a game like this, 2-point game, it's softly tempting.
It's always tempting.
Especially when you know you can get it cleanly, as he did. But drew the whistle. 4-point lead for Litchfield.
So the 2 leading scorers for these teams are on the benches, respectively. Alex Carlson for Litchfield and Gabe Hauer for Lubbock.
Alert play by Mike Patton. He comes up with a steal and calls the timeout before he would have been called for a travel. A 20-second timeout taken by the Dragons.
Heads-up play there by Mike Patton.
12 turnovers by Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. Only 5 by Litchfield. I mentioned those numbers earlier. Litchfield in their 3 tournament games, including this one to this point, a plus 28 in turnovers. Now, how long will Jeff Wagner leave his go-to guy, Gabe Hauer, on the bench? We'll have to wait and see.
And how about the Carlson situation? How long will the father leave the son on the bench?
And you could probably leave him a little longer if you had to when you have the lead. But when you're the team trying to come from behind, you may not have that luxury.
A lot of basketball to play. 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
Plus the fact that the Dragons have proven that they have more weapons. Kalis called for the foul here. That's his 2nd. And now if I'm the Bucks, I think I tell my guys to be very aggressive. Let's try and make a couple things happen. You have 3 fouls to give before you get in the bonus. Go for a few steals down the stretch. We may need to have them in the bonus so that we can put them on the foul line. Maybe not quite at this point, but within the next minute or so. And here's a reach-in foul against Brandon Miller.
Brandon Miller, number 30, picking up a foul. He's an all-conference running back. Also, Mike Patton's going to go to the line. Take a look here. This is another one of those tempting things where you think you can strip the ball, but the percentages are not in your favor when you go for that reach. A lot of times, if it just looks like a foul, it gets called. And players know that, so you can't feel too sorry for them when they get caught.
Litchfield has not missed a free throw as a team in the game. They are 9 of 9.
Well, that'll be a huge help to them. That's really impressive.
On the other side, the Bucks are just 2 for 6. That's the difference right now. 6-point game, a 7-point swing at the foul line. Kalis left alone for 3. Back rim, no good. Mike Patton's off to the races the other way, but wisely slows it down.
Well, they were 75% from the line in last night's game, 11 for 15, so that's really outstanding.
Tipped away and a steal by Little. Great look to Miller, who's wiped out. He'll go to the line. Third foul against John Carlson, who had it picked cleanly from him at the other end. Jeff Wagner wants an intentional foul called, but he won't get it.
There's a lot of contact here. You can see nobody hurt. Brandon Miller, 5'9" junior, stepping up to the line. But here was a nice pass from Mark Little, the senior. They set it up.
Miller gets the first free throw. It's his first point of the game. Golubeski is back in. Hauer still on the bench with 5:39 to play. Short. But an offensive rebound for the Bucks as Hackett comes down with it.
Well, Miller did what a lot of people do at the free throw line. He was kind of leaning back and falling away, and so often in the late games, your free throws are short anyway. You've got to keep your balance over your feet. If anything, be leaning forward toward the basket, not away from it.
5-point lead for Litchfield. Bucks really hurting without Hauer's ability to break down the defense on the dribble.
Hackett has had some big three-pointers, number 5 in white. But he and the rest of the crew are going to have to step it up while Hauer's on the bench.
Kalis steps back and hits it. Just a 2. But it's a 3-point possession nonetheless. And the lead is down to 3.
Kalis averages 16 a game. He's had as many as 34, so he can get hot too.
Big possession right here for Litchfield. They had the ball and a 6-point lead moments ago, and Miller is called for another reach. And here's Hauer. And at the same time, here is Alex Carlson. So the two stars each return at the 4:33 mark. Each will play with 4. The Dragons lead by 3 on the
Trails by 3. You can see the time left in this championship game, and they're facing up a very good Litchfield team. Litchfield also has an outstanding young lady playing for the national championship today. Kiana Burns, one of Litchfield's high school standouts who played for the Gophers for a short time, transferred to North Dakota State University, is playing in the national championship game today. She has 11 in the semifinals, so good luck to Kiana. I'm sure she wishes she could be here.
Chris Patton hits a big 3, and that is Litchfield's first field goal attempt of the fourth quarter. We had played almost 4 minutes. Golubeski to the floor. What a great effort, and a timeout taken. Now he's pointing at somebody. Jeff Wagner saying, I didn't ask for a timeout. It'll be a 20-second timeout, but the Bucks lose a key. Those timeouts are going to be crucial down the stretch, and everybody's looking around saying, who asked for the timeout?
I'm not sure if we really know who asked for the timeout, but Golubeski could have been called for traveling so easily. He was sliding on the floor of the ball and actually
got up to his knees.
Yeah, so I'm surprised they didn't call it on him right there. So maybe it was a break, but they're going to maintain at least the possession of the basketball. They have to trade a timeout for it, but it'll be interesting.
6-point lead, 2 seconds short of the halfway point. John Carlson was shouting from the Litchfield bench, no threes, no threes. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown has hit only 3 of 14 from outside the arc so far.
Hackett and Hauer and Kalis, the guards, all hit from out there, Anthony.
Hauer posts up and scores inside. A dozen for Hauer that leads the Bucks. They trail by 4.
You're right, though. This 4-point lead seems a lot bigger than just 4 points as we're at 3.5 minutes to play.
Offensive rebound by Brandon Van Leer. Tipped out of bounds. Dragons will get it. We have a timeout on the floor with 3:24 remaining. And on the Menard scoreboard, it's Litchfield by 4. watch this as it's last touched by John Carlson inside.
Oh, you're right, Anthony. I didn't even see that. I was just noticing what good defense the Bucks were playing. They had Carlson both covered, someone fronting him and someone coming from the backside to double team, and if he did get the ball, but he did knock it out of bounds.
4-point lead for the Dragons. They've had the lead since early in the second quarter. Patton inside scores. Great feed by Alex Carlson.
And Howard is standing right there, Gabe Howard, but he kind of puts his arms up and says, hey, I've got 4 fouls. I can't do anything. He's going to be careful on offense also. If he does drive, but they'll be looking to draw a charge on him.
Hackett rebounds his own miss in the corner.
Good hustle by Hackett. They trail by 6. They're going to need to get some good looks here, and they can't let too much time go.
Little turned it over, and then fouls Carlson at the other end.
Oh, these guys are fouling each other so hard, it makes me nervous.
And the Dragons will look to continue their perfect afternoon at the free throw line. They are 9 for 9 as a team.
That was Mark Little, no doubt about it. Alex Carlson will be going off to St. Cloud State to play next year. He's one of many guys on this team who are good tennis players. His dad's also the tennis coach. They were 3rd in the state tournament last year and got a 3.9 grade point average. I've been watching from the bench ever since he was 2 years old, he said.
I think he'll be a good player at that level.
Oh, I do too.
Lead is 8. And a turnover. Little threw it away. Patton takes it in for the layup. And that might be the knockout punch.
Well, you can feel it. The fans are up. 10-point ball game all of a sudden.
Another turnover. And the Bucks, who have done a great job keeping their poise all afternoon, have finally succumbed to the pressure of this Dragon defense. 3 turnovers in a row. And the Dragons now have the ball and a 10-point lead with 2 minutes to go.
A lot of emotion on the floor right now from both sides.
Timeout taken by Litchfield with exactly 2 minutes remaining.
We'll look for John Carlson to go into a delay and hold the ball. And just be really careful about shots, any shots that might be taken. They really don't need to. We are going to take a break here at the 2-minute mark of the 4th quarter, where Litchfield leads by 10.
And the finish by Mike Patton.
Mike Patton reading the pass, anticipating and getting the steal. There he is with the ball at the point. Really has played solid all day.
And Litchfield has stretched a 3-point lead to 10. Hackett with a block, but Carlson got it back inside. And now a foul called against Van Leer, and you don't want these.
I kind of wonder here, Litchfield coming out still shooting, Anthony. Now they lose the ball, 1:40 to play. I thought they might want to hang on to it a little bit longer and work that clock. Not that long to have to try to stall it out, but you do want to really take time off with every possession. 10 points is a lot in this type of a ball game, I think, though. For Hackett or Howard to start launching from the arc.
You need quick shots. Don't even necessarily have to be threes, although they would help.
Hard to get quick shots against this tough team, tough defensive team.
As is evidence right there, Howard had to try and force one up. And now with 1:18 to play, it's desperation time for the Bucks.
It sure is disappointing also because they experienced success in that state championship game. Were able to experience what it's like to come down and win it.
Carlson to shoot 1-1. He's been held to 8 points. Hits the first free throw. He's a perfect 5 of 5 at the line.
Will complete his career with over 1,700 career points.
He got them both. Litchfield is 13 for 13 at the free throw line. They lead by 12. A turnover. Carlson alertly just backs it away rather than taking it to the basket. Howard can't foul anyone.
Smart play by Litchfield here.
And the Bucks know they need a steal. Fouls aren't going to be enough with a team that's been perfect at the line. Kalis looks for it, can't get it, 35 to go. And the Dragons will complete a perfect season. Here's a turnover, Hackett with a steal. Stops, fires for three, missed it, rebound Van Leer. Patton's ahead of the play for the finish. Seconds to go. And the Bucks take a timeout. Wagner wants to allow a few others the opportunity to play in a state tournament game.
And look at what the difference is, 14 points. All of a sudden, the same number that three other opponents have.
Well, you know, the Dragons did so many things well in this game. They withstood a 1-for-11 first quarter, where they were down by 8, and yet they never altered from their game plan. They never, each time they walked the ball in the court, you still sense that confidence that they knew they were the better team. They knew they had the talent to win this, and they knew that if they stuck with what they had done all year, that eventually those shots would start to drop.
Well, they had to withstand also having John Carlson's son, Alex, on the bench with foul trouble, the leading scorer. But it's a great team. Obviously, you talk about the Carlson connection and the brothers, but really this team is a team that has worked so hard. Only one loss in the last two seasons. They lost once to Monticello last year.
5 seconds to go. And the Dragons will make it 29 in a row. And they are state champions. In a season where they were clearly the elite team, the premier team in Class 2A, they deserve this championship. And we may have just watched the best team in the state of Minnesota, regardless of class.
Well, I've talked to some Litchfield people, and they said, we'd love to play Patrick Henry. We think we could take them, too.
They've already proven that they can handle Tartan, who will play for the 4A title tonight. They beat them by 25 on their home floor in a Christmas tournament. They've beaten Minnetonka, who was in the 4A title game a year ago. And it's always a little more special when it's family. The Carlsons, Alex and John Jr. give Dad and Coach a big hug. You know, you watch scenes like that, and that's really, it's what the tournament is all about, but you look back, and Janet, I know as a player and now as a parent, you see where some of these dreams begin. And they begin, especially in smaller towns where these guys have all played together and played together exclusively most of their lives.
Oh, it's really special. A lot of emotion here on both sides of the court. Everyone thinks the tears are just at the girls' tournament, but that's not true.
And a valiant effort by the Bucks today. They did just about everything right except scheduled the wrong opponent. And they fall by 14. Let's send it over to the public address announcer, Bob Reed, for the award presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the awards ceremony this afternoon will be conducted by 4 members of the board of directors of the Minnesota State High School League. They are the president, David Hartman of Alexandria, Steve Chorness of Westbrook Walnut Grove, John Trittabaugh of Albany, and Dr. Michael White of Oakdale, Maplewood, North St. Paul. They're assisted by Tim Dittburner of South St. Paul, representing the Coaches and Athletic Directors Associations, and Skip Peltier, Associate Director of the High School League staff and the director of this tournament. At this time, we will present the 10-member U.S. Bank All-Tournament team, chosen by the sports writers and sportscasters covering this tournament. These students have distinguished themselves by their athletic excellence, leadership, team commitment, and exceptional sportsmanship. Presenting the trophies for the U.S. Bank All-Tournament Team Award at center court is Michael Birch, U.S. Bank Personal Banker. And now the 2000 Class 2A Boys Basketball All-Tournament Team. Guard Jeff Brever of Stables Motley. Center Dustin Jelmeland of Staples Motley. Forward Alan Anderson of De La Salle. Center Derek Robinson of De La Salle. Guard Corey Hackett of Waterville-Elysian. Guard Travis Kalis of Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. Guard Gabe Hauer of Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. Guard Alex Carlson of Litchfield. Guard Mike Patton of Litchfield. And center John Carlson of Litchfield. U.S. Bank and the Minnesota State High School League congratulate all members of the Class 2A All-Tournament team for boys basketball.
The All-Tournament team. And now let's send it back to Bob Reed.
The worthy runners-up from Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. John Cornelius. Brian Roop. Lance Warner. Brandon Miller. Jake Golubeski. Joe Zimke. Mark Little. Terry Mischke. Corey Nussbaum. Tony Schnorr. Craig Herring. Luke Larson. Corey Hackett. Travis Kalis. And Gabe Hauer. And now will the captain or captains of the Buccaneers come forward to accept their second place 2A trophy. Congratulations to the Buccaneers assistant coach Nick James and the head Waterville-Elysian-Morristown coach Jeff Wagner and the entire Buccaneer official party. The 2000 Class 2A Minnesota State High School champion is Litchfield. Gold medals will now be awarded to each member of the Litchfield team. Joe Patton. Alex Carlson. Chris Patton. Mike Patton. Brandon Van Leer. DJ Vanayer. Brent Van Leer. Ryan Anderson. Zach Piepenberg. Carl Bergs. John Carlson. Ben Musburger. Lyle Olberding. Nat Springer. Scott Peters. Student manager Chris Check. And student manager Jacob Ficker. And now will the captain or captains of the Litchfield Dragons come forward to claim their 2A state championship trophy. Congratulations to the Dragons assistant coach Ken Gustafson and the head Litchfield coach John Carlson and the entire Litchfield official party.
Congratulations to the Dragons. They capture the championship with a 42-28 win over Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. And for the dominant season that they had, it's really only fitting that they are the ones that take home the big prize. And now the Carlsons can focus on a wedding.
That's right. Oh, yes, that wedding in the family. Their oldest daughter.
Oh, by the way.
I'm sorry to say, but it might have gotten overshadowed just a little bit by this.
At least she planned it the right weekend. She was a week earlier. She might not have had a really... attendance would have been a problem. But when you look back at what they did this season and how they destroyed their competition all year long, to take nothing away from Waterville-Elysian-Morristown, because I really admired the way they approached this game today, the discipline with which they played. It would have been a shame to see somebody else win this state championship.
It was just an unbelievable finish for a perfect season for Litchfield. What a crowd from Litchfield.
Vanessa Hughes has a couple of the heroes. Vanessa.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm here with a happy coach and a happy player. I'm going to start with you, John. It was very touching to see you hug your sons over there on the sidelines. How special is it to be able to celebrate a state title with your two sons?
Well, it's an awesome feeling to celebrate with my two sons. It's even a greater feeling to celebrate with all these kids and all these fans. The support we've gotten is fantastic, but it was really a special year having I knew my senior son was going to be a player for us because he has been for 5 years, but I really wasn't sure my 9th grader would do quite as well as he did. So it was really a neat deal for us, and to win 30 games in a year is unbelievable, and I really didn't feel a lot of pressure until this game, and then I thought, we got to win this one to finish off the whole year, and fortunately we did against a great team. Those guys were so well coached and so disciplined, and that's the way you got to play us. If you're going to have a chance, you got to take your time on offense and make us play defense. And fortunately, we played great defense.
They were certainly ready for you today. They had a good game plan coming in. I know that your team's not used to playing in low-scoring games like this and close games like this. What do you think was the difference with your kids? They handled the pressure so well.
Well, they've been through that before, maybe not this year as far as close games, but they're great athletes and they're great competitors. I knew they'd just hang in there, and we had to keep playing great defense because Waterville was very comfortable, passing 5, 6, 7, 8 times, running a guy through screens. So the guys just hung in there real well, and I was really proud of them.
I'm going to turn over to Mike here and talk to him. Mike, just a fantastic game for you today. 16 points. You were the floor leader out there for your team. You guys didn't lose a game all season. Going into the season, did you think that something like this was possible?
We knew it. We had all our seniors. We had the guys. We knew we could do this. It was just a matter of getting it done. We just played our defense and worked hard every day and came to play. And that's about all you can do, you can ask for.
I talked to your coach a little bit about it was a very close game and very low scoring, and you guys aren't used to playing in games like that. What do you think was the difference? How did you handle the pressure and not fall apart down the stretch?
We just played our style, our game. It doesn't matter what the score is during the game. It's at the end of the game. We can play a half-court game. We can play a full-court game. Low scoring or high scoring, we'll play the game just as long as our team can win.
Last thing for you, what's going through your mind right now? It's got to be just an incredible feeling.
I don't know. I got too many emotions going through me right now. All I want to say is we're number one, and Litchfield High School is everything to me.
Congratulations to Mike Patton and the Litchfield Dragons, 42-28. They are the 2A state champions. We'll be back with much more after this. Stay with us.
And before we look back and put the finishing touches on this one, yes, a couple of Van Leers are gone. There's a Carlson that's gone, a Patton that's gone, but there's still a couple of Pattons and a Carlson coming back next year, plus a coach who's helped this team to just one loss over the last 2 years.
That's right. A lot to look forward to, and also one player, 6'9", Scott Peters, just a sophomore, so I'm sure he'll be working hard. I'm sure all those players would love to be able to come back and do this again.
The Dragons win it, and they won it despite a very slow start today. They were just 1 of 11 from the field in the first quarter, and they were down by 8. They battled back, took control of the game in the second quarter, and then delivered a knockout punch in the fourth, and that's our General Motors play of the game. The play of the game comes on a steal by Mike Patton, who then takes it in for a layup. This was part of a 9-2 run by Litchfield that stretched a 3-point lead to 10 with about 2.5 minutes to go.
Well, that defensive pressure that Litchfield's known for did not force as many turnovers as they're accustomed to, but that one was critical and important. It did start that run for them to be able to pull out to a 14-point victory here in the Class 2A championship.
The American Dairy Association player of the game is the man responsible for that steal, Mike Patton. He will receive a certificate and a donation sent to Litchfield on behalf of Mike Patton from your local dairy farmers who asked. He got milk. Well, Mike Patton had a little bit of everything. 16 points, 4 rebounds, the 4 steals also key. And it was the presence that this team showed that I thought was their most impressive single attribute in this game. They never got rattled. The poise, the athletic ability, all of that combined made them just too tough for the Bucks.
And that's a credit to them, you know, especially younger players like a John Carlson Jr. out there at probably 15 years of age. But yet, I think it's a real credit to their coach, to John Carlson, for the preparation to get here and to be ready for it. And all the experience that they've had over the last couple of years, it's really a wonderful finish and a wonderful story. We don't really root for teams, but we can appreciate all that it takes to get to this point, too.
And a storybook season ends for the Dragons with their 30th victory. Janet, it's been a pleasure working with you the last couple of weeks.
Thank you, you too. Welcome to the Channel 9 team this year.
We'll maybe see you again same time next year, perhaps. Okay. Dragons win this one. I sign off. Jeff Grayson will be back tonight. Vanessa Hughes will set the table for that when we continue at Williams Arena. Stay with us.